Hey everyone, first of all, I'd like to apologize. I haven't been keeping up with our weekly episodes of new content. As you might have seen, the past few weeks has been a lot of lesson archives. Now, the reason is I've actually been quite ill over this past month. So really, I've been focusing a lot of my energy on just resting and then also teaching my private students at the same time. And so I'm feeling a bit better today. So I wanted to kickstart off today with some Q&A. Cover some of the questions that have built up over the past few months and maybe past few years. So let's dive into it today. And the first question here comes from Evan, and Evan is asking, hey Ivan, I'm lost and I don't know where to start. I don't know what I need to fix or work on or any vocal lessons that can help. Can you help with this? First of all, Evan, thank you so much for this question. Frankly, I feel like this is one of the toughest parts of singing, just not knowing what to do or just feeling like so confused or feeling lost with your singing. Now, really beyond booking in a lesson with me and having me listen to your voice, the best thing I can suggest is I want you to choose a song and I want you to sing it. And I really want you to pay attention and observe. What do I find challenging? Is it singing on pitch? Is it keeping power in my voice? Is it, actually singing lighter? Maybe you're always singing really, really loud and with strain. Right? Is it maybe singing on time? Because sometimes the next step or the answer to that next step is really right in front of you. And so if you can just sing a song, sit there, observe, maybe even record yourself and just notice what exactly do I find challenging, that can be a really good place to get started. If you're struggling with pitch, see if you can find some things that can help you with pitch. If you're struggling with timing, see if you can find things with that. If you're struggling with, hitting the high notes, find some ways that can help you with this. Now, on this topic, in general, I find that most people can really, really benefit from just understanding and working on the fundamentals of our voice. Now, really what I mean by fundamentals here is number one, what does it actually feel like to change pitch? How does it feel like to go high? How does it feel like to go low? What is that feeling? What is that sensation that you can lock into? The second one is, what does it feel like to add power or control volume? Like if I want to go louder, go softer, how do I manage that? Right? Really, if you can just answer these two questions and you can really master these two parts of your voice, you'd already be way ahead of a lot of singers. Now, I'm not going to go into detail, but for Evan, for anyone who feels like they're in a similar boat, the episodes I really want you to check out is episode 148, where I talk about how to learn to sing in 2024. This actually covers this whole roadmap of how do you develop your voice from scratch. Episode 129, which talks about isolating the stretch, which is that mechanism for adjusting pitch. And also episode 132, a simple approach to high notes. So these are some extra bonus resources that you can check out after this episode. Okay, now question number 2 comes from Sunny, and Sunny asks, hey Ivan, what kind of singing classes should I take that would benefit me? Now, I can see this question being interpreted in many, many different ways. So Sunny, I'm going to have to take a guess here and take a bit of a stab here. But Sunny, if you're asking about how there are different types of singing classes, like private one-on-ones, group classes, going to the choir, or even like a YouTube courses or singing courses online, which one is better for you? I'm going to share a couple of thoughts on this. So I think really the question here is, how serious and committed are you towards singing? And then also at the same time, do you have any restrictions on yourself like time and money? Because there's always going to be a bit of a trade-off. For example, I think a good private instructor, a voice teacher that you're working with one-on-one is going to be the best route if you want to make the best amount of progress in the shortest amount of time. And the reason is just, you've got the commitment, so you're gonna have to meet with them every single week. And then also you've got tailored feedback. And I think that is just so important for a lot of singers who are developing their voice. But, at the same time, it's probably going to be one of the more expensive options. Now, if you're trying to build confidence or you just genuinely like the social aspect of singing, choirs and group classes are a really, really great place because you get to meet people, you get to sing songs and you get to have fun. But I find that the trade-off with that is often you don't go deep technically and you don't have that feedback to really work on your technique in detail. And last but not least, if you enjoy working at things at your own pace and you quite like having lessons that are, structured for you, then personally an online course can be really, really good because it allows you to work on it at your own pace. In fact, this is actually one of the things that I do. I actually offer a course called The Fundamentals of Singing. And a lot of people who have taken that course have talked about how it's a really great way to just work through the concepts of singing one step at a time. Now, as you might have guessed, the trade-off with an online singing course is that there's less of that kind of feedback loop. So it's going to be harder for you to know exactly if you're doing it correctly or not. And so really there are going to be these trade-offs. And what I can suggest is just, once again, take a look at how serious you are with singing, and then take a look at some of the restrictions. How much time have you got? Is finances going to be a challenge? And just give things a try, because action is going to precede clarity here. Like once you do the online course, maybe you're like, hey, I need to get some more private lessons. And then you take that next step. But you won't really know that until you take that first step. And the other thing that can happen is sometimes you can just do two things at once. I have had plenty of students who are taking one-on-one lessons with me, but then at the same time, they're part of a choir. I think that's one of the beautiful things about music. There's so many ways to learn, so many ways to get better at your craft. Now, the last question for today is from May Love at Kayla. And this one is more talking about how to make music. And for some of you who have been checking out my content, I do know that I actually make music as well on the side. And this is something that I help a lot of my vocal students with as well. So I think this is where this question has come from. And May or Kayla is asking, should I make the song or music first and then work out the lyrics? Or should it be the other way around? And also, I just found this podcast and I really enjoy it. Thank you so much for checking out this podcast. It really, really means the world to me. And to answer your question, I really think that, creative work or, making music, there is no right or wrong ways. I've seen people do it both ways. People who have a notebook full of lyrics and then they create a whole song around that. Now, personally for me, I do create the instrumental first and the beat. And you might have noticed in some of my live streams on YouTube, I'm actually there just creating like little layers and kind of putting them together. And the reason why is I personally, enjoy creating like a vibe or a feeling first. And I find that when I, create an instrumental and then I kind of arrange it into like choruses, verses, pre-chorus, that allows me to really kind of manage the energy change so that when I come in with the vocals, I just kind of need to match those energy changes there. Where does the energy need to peak, or where does the energy need to kind of come down a tiny bit? I feel like starting with the instrumental kind of has a lot of that covered, and adding vocals becomes a lot easier. Anyway, team, I hope this episode was useful. If it was, please do all the usual social media stuff. That would really, really help, and it would really mean the world to me. If you're on the podcast, leaving a 5-star review would be amazing. Moving forward, once my voice feels a bit better, or my health feels a bit better, I do want to get back into some of those more in-depth kind of episodes where we tackle one question and we go really, really deep with it, because I personally feel like that's the value that I can add to the singing community. So if you have any questions that you want to ask about singing, please leave it down in the comments below, because I will get to them. Give me time. Now, apart from that, if you do want to work with me privately, or if you want to check out some of my self-study courses, I do have some links down in the description that can help you get started. Apart from that, my name is Ivan. I'm your voice teacher, and I'll see you every single Thursday or Friday, depending where you are joining me from. Take care.